Truth, Peace, Hotep, Big Rig 1961. I'm on a rampage today. I just been responding and looking at videos today. And, I want to put up a different video, which hopefully probably with another hour to do so. But this is in response to this sister because I think she, she has good intentions and a lot of what she says is truthful. And I was looking at the comments, in this particular video, and I saw how, this one brother was talking about capitalism and socialism, not really being an African construct, which is true, it's a European construct, and a lot of times, we confuse these different paradigms of control. And at the root of it, you can have state-run capitalism and you can have, private, private business capitalism, which is really ruling the world right now. You can create any infrastructure that, forces people to do one thing or the other. It's still, something that has to do with patriarchy and not matriarchy. And this is the thing that I think that a lot of people are confused about, that, this whole patriarchal paradigm is 5,000 years old. But we have civilizations that are tens of thousands of years old that were run by women. And, it was run like a family. It's like you're saying, what mother is going to watch another mother's child starve? Okay. And that's the whole thing about matriarchy. It's like it's done as a family. It's like, and sometimes, our mothers make the wrong choice. It's like sometimes like, in order to make one child stronger than the other, what they do is, they try to bring up the weakest one. Okay. But then that stronger child feels confused about it. Okay. And I'm trying to say something deeper than what is being said. So a lot of times, when you hit these videos and, and I know that your intentions are truthful, and one of the greatest points that you had in your video had to deal with all this import of other goods. Well, that is the New World Order. It's just like here why are we buying milk from California and I'm in North Carolina? How is that helping the dairy farmers here? Not to say that, dairy milk is good because it's only really good for babies. It's not really good for human consumption because, baby cows drink that stuff so they can be big cows, So, those hormones, they talk about, we don't have this and that and all the rest of the stuff. But, the truth be told that, all this processing of food is done for one purpose, is to control us. Because they know that there's a chemical reaction that happens when food hits your tongue and it sets off enzymes in your stomach. And when we intermingle certain foods with each other, it causes the confusion. And this is why we get this bloating. This is why we get bad digestive systems. And this is why we get most of the molecular diseases that we get. It's because, it's like, certain ingredients by itself. And here we go. There's a micro and macro meaning to all of this. When we get certain ingredients individually and we put it within our stomach, which is, nothing but an incubator, because, all that, it has a certain heat to it. There's a certain, moisture there that, you create all of these different chemicals into one chemical. You need different ingredients to create one chemical. It's like you need the ingredient of hate. You need the ingredient of poverty. You need the ingredient of a lack of an education. Okay, individually, they are, detrimental things, but combined into one community, it creates control. Because now it's taken away from your power. Socialism, within the words of socialism, fine, I understand what it's talking about, but it's not a true African construct. And that's what we need to get back, is to go back to not, because they've turned communal into communism. And communism is still state-run capitalism in the construct in which the European formulated it. But family, and this is one of the things I was talking about the other day, it's like we need to recognize that we are family. That, we have, the mother created the father. And so now we have that mother-father creation, and then from there we raise our children and our family. But we raise them on certain principles of love, of understanding, of patience, compassion, you know, and we free ourselves of being judgmental towards one another. We teach each other on principles of non-exploitation, that we don't capitalize on other people's errors or mistakes. It's just like, I don't mind paying $5 for an apple, for one apple, if it's going to feed the rest of my community. If I can afford, you know, but then it has a whole thing about afford. The way the economic system is today, it is not conducive of a system that's going to allow but a certain few to control the masses, because you could be told 1,000,000 times that 1% of the world population controls 95% of its resources. So what do we do? You know, it's like another brother had said, and I've said this many times before, you give them a Cadillac, a fine house, and a few women and stuff, and they'll let you rape that. You know, they'll sit there and talk about, yeah, black power to our people, you know, one day we will get over the struggle and stuff like that. No, you can get over the struggle tomorrow. You know, one of the reasons why Martin Luther King was killed and you know, the whole struggle was stopped, because they realized that, like that bus boycott, they were like, we can walk. We can get together. We don't got to get on that bus. Okay, the whole idea of getting on the bus is that, you know, the bus is 50 cents. We got 100 seats here. So, you know, throughout the day, that bus will pay for itself. Like, say if it brings in, I'm just throwing out a number, back then, $300 a day worth of income. If it's running 300, you know, days out of the year, okay, that comes to about $10,000, $9,000, right? And if the lifetime of that bus is 10 years, so that bus can bring an income of $90,000. Okay, so what they do is they go out and get loans for about $70,000, and they're supposed to be using that for infrastructural, you know, means in order to, you know, to build a community. So, you know, then they pay down these loans and stuff like that. They use the other monies to, you know, prop up their other systems and things. I mean, that's how it works. And I'm not using that figure. Don't quote me as that's some, you know, figure, but that's how these municipalities are supposed to be working. They're supposed, you know, they borrow against, you know, they sell bonds and stuff like that, and you know, and then the bonds are supposed to be payable at a certain time. It gives you a certain wealth. You know, it's all balance sheet numbers. If they wanted to get rid of the budget deficit, they could do it tomorrow. They could create a line item loan that could, you know, be payable in 100 years, and with interest payments, you know, with interest payments lower than, you know, the amount that they bring in on a yearly basis in terms of profit. You know, so trust me, I know economics, and you know, they can do it tomorrow. But I mean, you know, it sounds like I'm going way off the topic, but you know, I understand what the sister's talking about. But you know, to get into that whole socialism thing, you know, like the brother was saying in the context of the comments, you really need to look at its true structures, like looking into Christianity and all the rest of these religious structures. You know, there's a base from which it came from, and it came from our spirituality, and we're spiritual people. We're not, you know, religious people. You know, we may get into dogma that says, okay, we do this, you know, 5 times a day, or you do that. But, you know, to me, it's individual. But at the same time, one day we're going to have to come together. And we're going to have to come together in love and understanding of one another. But yes, sister, you know, keep on doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? You know, it's like I say to you, you know, do more research on socialism, because capitalism and its patriarchal system is what's destroying our communities. Because, you know, we keep, you know, doing this father thing, you know, and it's our mother that, you know, from which we came from. Wisdom, knowledge is born. Knowledge that. Peace.